Hello and welcome to lesson 7.3. We're going to take care of finding the area of our other four-sided shapes that we have not gone through in our first couple lessons, and that would be trapezoid and kite. A kite is a quadrilateral that has two pairs of adjacent sides with the same length. So it kind of looks like the kite that you would fly. So the ones next to each other, the dashes mean have the same length. And these two would have the same length, but they would not all four have the same length. If it was, then it would be a rhombus, a special type of kite, but that would classify under a parallelogram. In this one, our sides are not parallel, so we can't use the parallelogram formula. The way we're going to find the area of a kite, as you can probably tell from the lines drawn in the middle, is we're just going to separate it into multiple triangles. If you look carefully, you might see four triangles here. You could split it into four triangles, or you could split it into two larger triangles. For example, I could do like the top big triangle, which I'll outline here, and the bottom triangle that's actually the same size. If you look at it, and I outline it in red. Oh, I missed a little bit there. We'll try that line again. So we could write it as top plus bottom, which I'll do it that way. I mean, you could have split it left and right. You could split it into four triangles. The nice part of splitting it this way is that these two triangles are the same size, but if I had split it left and right, they would be different. So I feel like I have a better chance of getting it right here. So the top would be 1/2 times the base, which if we now look carefully, the base all the way across would be this 6 and that 3 together. So the base will be 9 and the height would be 4. I wouldn't want to do half of 9. I'm going to do 9 times 4 first. So that top triangle is 18. Now the bottom triangle, which you should see coming because I just mentioned it, is the same because it's 1/2 and it's upside down, but its base is on the top and it's 9 and its height is 4. I may have to turn it to kind of visualize it, but it's the same triangle, so it's going to have the same work. And then my total area for the kite, both triangles combined, would be 36 square feet. So again, your strategy is to split it, decompose it, split it into more than one shape, and hopefully finding the easiest way to split it. The second shape is a trapezoid. Is a quadrilateral with only one pair of parallel sides. The typical one you see looks like this, where the top and the bottom are parallel. Reminder, the arrows mean parallel from our earlier sections. But it could be turned a different way. They don't have to be the same on the left and the right, by the way. Common misperception. It just has four sides, and the two of them have to be parallel, and it's usually the top and the bottom. This shape doesn't really, it has a base, so that is a base. But this is called B1 because it's the first base. Because this shape actually has another base, the top, because they both can be considered bases depending on which way it's turned. So it doesn't matter if you interchange them, you call this one base 1, that would just be turned upside down. Reminder, the height is always at a right angle and is either drawn inside or could be drawn outside. But the height is always straight up and down. That's going to lead us to this complicated formula. The area is 1/2 times the height, but it's not times the base like a triangle. It is multiplied by the sum of the bases. So it'll be base 1 plus base 2. You have to do that first in parentheses, multiplied by 1/2 of the height. That is quite a complicated formula. Let's try it. Reminder, step 1 is to rewrite our formula. So this shape is a trapezoid. So if we have a formula, we're going to use it. And now step 2 This is substituting what we know. A, we don't know, 1/2 times the height we do know, straight up and down, is 6. So this is the height. And then this is B1, and this is B2. And now hopefully you can see if you had reversed B1 and B2, you would just get the same thing, and that's okay. Now going back to chapter 1, we have to follow order of operations, which tells me parentheses is first. 9 plus 5 is 14. And now we're left with only multiply, so we can do any order we want. 1/2 of 6 seems really easy. 3 times 14 is 42, and that would be feet squared again. So this is one of the tougher formulas to follow. In class, we'll go over like where this formula kind of comes from a little bit, but for this video, we're just going to focusing on using the correct formula. All right, here we go. We have the area of a trapezoid here. This is a trapezoid. This could be a good spot in the video to pause it, try it yourself, and come back and check. But first, I'll write the formula. Second, I'll substitute in what I know. The height is 5. Base 1 is down here. That's 11.5. Base 2 is up top. That's 8.5. Order of operations, they do this first. That would give 20. How nice. I'll show all my steps. And now I can go in any order I want. It seems easy to do 5 times 20. And then 1/2 of that would give us 50. And notice these units are meters, so meters squared. Our final shape, though, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 sides. This is actually a hexagon, technically. But we don't have a formula for that. We had done one of these on the previous notes page. We could split our shape into shapes we know how to find the area for. So you have to find the good split area spot. That would be right here. Because up top, I have a rectangle, and on the bottom, I have a trapezoid. So to be able to find the total area, I'm going to do the rectangle plus the trapezoid. The rectangle formula is just base times height, which would be 6 times 4. But the trapezoid formula, a little bit complicated. 1/2 times, but we need the height down here, which would be right here. Notice we don't have the height, but we do know the whole thing is 8. That's not the height of the trapezoid. We know the rectangle is 6. 8 minus 6 gives you this spot of 2, which is what we need for the height. Base 1 is clearly 8 on the trapezoid on the bottom. Base 2, there's nothing written here, but it has to match the top of the rectangle, so that has to be 4. Order of operations, I'll get a 12 there. I'd probably just do 1/2 of 2, which is 1. 1 times 12 is 12. I don't know if I need to show that separately. On the rectangle, I would get 24. And when I add them together, I get 36 square inches is the total area. Hope that helped. That's actually the end of our 2D shapes that we'll be covering this year for finding area. And our next sections move on to 3D shapes.